Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Glad to see you. Thanks for coming out today. So there was a guy doing a review of the, I think it was the XH2, XH2S, and got into a conversation in the comments where he was saying with somebody else, like, yeah, my Sony kit, the body's the XH2, same size, and for the same money, you might as well go full frame. There's no point to the Fuji's. Really? So in this little bag here that I got right here, I have the X-T5, the 16 to 80, and the 55 to 200. So I've got in this bag a 40 megapixel camera and the full frame equivalent of 24 to 300. I couldn't do that with Sony. So, it's not the same, okay? There are some real advantages to APS-C, and image quality is, there's nothing to it. Full frame makes people feel good, and I get that, and it has its place, kind of, but APS-C is so good. Yeah, I'm over it. Like, I'm not even gonna, that's all I'm gonna say on it, because it's like, it's a worthless conversation, Now that Fuji's bumped up to 40 megapixels, and I didn't even need that, 26 was more than enough. So, but I just wanted to, that was more of a psychological thing. But now that I'm at 40, I'm loving the new 40 megapixel sensor. So anyway, and on top of that, I'm doing video too, all in this one little bag here. Now this isn't gonna be the bag I take normally. I just wanted to see if I could do it, and I'm doing it. So there it is. Okay, so X-T5 here. Don't have the L bracket yet. I'll probably pick one up maybe eventually. Kind of digging it. I picked it up with the kit lens. Fuji doesn't really have a kit lens. And this is the 16 to 80, and I'm kind of really digging it. It's an interesting lens. It's kind of a one-stop shop. It does it all. So we shall see. I'm kind of really liking it. I'm kind of in a tough position now because I'm really liking the X-T5, and it's really all I need. The X-T5, maybe the XH2S as a kit to have two cameras. I don't know. It's tough. Well, when Fuji came out with all three of these cameras, they made it really hard. So because I'm not really sure, I can get by with just the X-T5 and a GoPro, which is what I'm doing right now. So, but one of the things I want to do, now having said that, one of the things I want to do is I want to throw the X-T5 up on the tripod and talk some more about it and see how the video is and the autofocus and all that. So let's give that a shot. All right, well, this is pretty interesting. I got this big red box that tells me the video is working, and the eye tracking, it's so weird because the camera kind of feels like an X-T3, and yet I can see that it's just absolutely tracking my eyes. So the X-T5 might be great for video. I got this little mirror thing where I flip the screen up and it allows me to see what's going on, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not as convenient as a flippy screen, but then again, a flippy screen's not as convenient as the three-way tilt screen with an L bracket. So, interesting situation. The big problem with the X-T4 and the X-T3 before it, and more so with the X-T3, was you couldn't tell, I guess what I'm trying to say is you kind of had to have the flippy screen with the X-T4 and the X-T3 because you had to be able to manually focus and you had to be able to see if you were in focus or not. But, if I'm not too worried about it, if this face eye tracking focus is nailing it, then it's not that important. As long as I'm centered in the lens, I don't even need to see what's on the back of the screen for video. So yeah, as far as stills is concerned, the X-T3 was awesome. And so the X-T5, from what I've seen from the XH2 sensor, and the X-T5 has the same sensor, the 40 megapixels, it's stunning. It's large format film smoothness with the resolution. I'm really impressed with the sensor so far. Still early days, but Yeah, very impressive sensor. So the light is dropping fast here. It's actually getting kind of dark, which is interesting. The eye focus is still like perfect. I can see that. And so there it is. Like this was really kind of a test video of the X-T5, but so far I'm very impressed. I think the X-T5 is going to be my main stills camera. And I'm not really sure. High quality problem. Like I could choose any one of these three cameras and it would be like fine for what I'm doing. Okay. I prefer the 40 megapixels of the stills for the stills. I prefer the 40 megapixels for the stills. So for my stills photography, it would have to be the X-T5 or the X-H2. I prefer the X-T5 for the stills. So there's that. For video, like I'm really digging the super capabilities of the X-H2S. Like the 4K 120 is kind of neat. But as far as a two camera combination, like the X-H2S and the X-T5 would probably be the perfect two camera combination because you're getting the great X factor X-T5 dials and speed and everything. And the 40 megapixels for the stills and the great three-way screen for use with the L bracket. And then on top of that, you've got the X-H2S with, for high-speed sports and all that. So that would be a great two-camera option. And then if you were only going to have one, I'd probably go with the X-H2. So at this point right now, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'm probably going to roll with all three. I'm preferring the X-T5. So why is that? The X-H2 and the X-H2S I prefer over the Sony cameras. They're better than the Sonys. But they feel more like Sonys than they do Fujis, if that makes any sense. Well, obviously, because they're PASM dial cameras and their electronic interface and all that. But they're a lot nicer to use than the Sonys. They feel more professional, just subjective in my opinion. But I prefer the XT series from Fuji, just in general. And so the X-T5 is really checking off the boxes for me. So yeah. So there it is. I kind of wish that Fuji would make an X-T5S. And what that would be an X-T5 with a flippy screen like the X-T4 and the stacked 26 megapixel sensor. That would kind of be my perfect kit, an X-T5 and an X-T5S. But that's not going to happen, I don't think. So I probably am going to roll with the X-T5 for stills and the X-H2S for video and, and backup in the same bag for like when I'm going on photo expeditions. If I'm only bringing one camera, like walking around doing mostly stills photography, that's going to be the X-T5. And then if I'm only going to bring one camera to do both, it would be the X-H2. I mean, Fuji's really made this difficult. I really like all three cameras, and they really are great. So yeah, Fuji is really gone somewhere. I never expected them to make such a huge leap forward. And they really have. Like, this is Sony levels of performance with like the great Fuji colors and the wonderful Fuji image quality that Sony doesn't have. So very impressed so far, yeah. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you out here. Have a great one. Bye.